Welcome back to Unpacking It. Here's your host, Bryce Johnson.
Welcome back to Unpacking It. I'm Bryce Johnson. Check out the website, unpackingit.com. Thanks so much for being with us today. And if you missed any of our conversation with Ryan Matthews, you can listen to the podcast in iTunes. Just search Unpacking It, or you can go to our website, Unpacking It. And stick around for the end of the show. We'll do Unpack This. I've got a thought about the Atlanta Braves and a thought about faith and life as well. And you can sign up to receive the email version of Unpack This. You can go to unpackingit.com to receive that. And then also, we are a nonprofit ministry. So this radio show, Unpacking It, falls under Unpacking It Ministries. And we would love to invite you to join our support team. And that may be a financial commitment. That may be a non-financial involvement in the ministry. But we just want to invite you to be a part of things as listeners. And we've got a lot going on with the email devotional and events and the radio show. And would love to just kind of fill you in more and have you really just a part of the team. And so you can sign up on unpackingit.com or send me an email, bryce@unpackingit.com. But we've got another great interview, so let's jump right back into it. Our guest today is Wesley Bryan, a pro golfer who has 2 wins this year as a rookie on the web.com tour. He has already earned his card for the PGA Tour for next season, but he accepted a sponsor invite to the upcoming FedEx St. Jude Classic in June, where he will make his PGA Tour debut. He played his college golf at the University of South Carolina. Him and his brother George have a YouTube channel featuring their golf trick shot videos, which we'll ask him all about. They also appeared on the golf reality show Big Break. Wesley joins us to talk golf, faith, and family. Wesley, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great, Bryce. Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, man, we're glad to have you, and I want to hear kind of your full story, but let's start with this year and just kind of what were the thoughts and the expectations at the beginning of your rookie season, and what has this experience been like already winning 2 tournaments and having the success that you've already had?
Yeah, it was crazy. Coming into the year, I'd never played in a web.com tour event at all. And the first event, I kind of got my feet wet. I got myself in contention and played from the next to last group. And kind of realized if I play my game and I play well, that I can compete out here. So that was kind of good, just getting that experience right out the get-go with the first event. But I found myself in contention again in the third event, and luckily was able to get that one done, made a late birdie and ended up winning by 1. And that kind of solidified my belief initially that, hey, if I play well, I can compete. And heck, found myself in contention again a few weeks later in Cartagena. Things didn't go so well the last few holes, but still another good tournament, and went down to Mexico the next week and found myself in contention again. And luckily, again, was able to make a few birdies coming in and got another win under my belt and locked up my card for next year. It honestly all just kind of blew up in my face way quicker than I could probably see it coming. But definitely fortunate to be in the position I am now, already having my card locked up and kind of feel like I'm playing with house money from here on out.
Absolutely. So you'll continue on the web.com tour for most of this year, and then you've got the excitement of the sponsor exemption for the FedEx St. Jude Classic. And I guess just kind of real briefly for maybe the average listener today who doesn't always understand how golf works as far as getting to the PGA Tour and what that looks like. And just from your perspective, because here you are, you're a rookie on the web.com tour. It doesn't always happen this quickly, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, what a lot of people don't see is, I mean, I graduated back in 2012 and have failed at Q school a few times. And just six months ago, I was going through Q school, had no status whatsoever. And looking back at it, just a few shots or a few putts not going in 6 months ago could have, again, left me in the same spot with no status. But things kind of fell in the right place at the right time back in October, November, December, going through Q school. And I found myself with full web.com tour status and yeah, I feel like I've been able to take advantage of it thus far.
Absolutely. Wesley Bryan, our guest today, pro golfer here on Unpacking It, and you played your college golf at South Carolina. So take us back even a few more years as far as when did you get into golf, and then how did you make the decision to play at USC?
Yeah, my dad is actually a PGA instructor and professional, so he got me and my brother and sister into the game really, really early. I was lucky to have a dad that was super passionate about my golf, but didn't get his hands too involved in our process. He kind of let us fall in love with the game ourselves and run with it. He obviously was our instructor growing up, and he taught us the game, but never was so pushy to the fact that it drove us away. So I'm super thankful that my dad took that approach. I saw a lot of kids my age kind of get into the game, and their parents got too involved, and it kind of led to them fizzling out later on down the road. But I got a club in my hand at a super early age, and then realized that I was really good, and I had a chance to get a college scholarship going through middle school. So I quit playing baseball when I was probably 12 or 13 years old, and focused on golf, and I made my decision to go to South Carolina. It was kind of an easy decision. My brother was already there, and it was close to home. About 20 minutes up the road was campus, so it made the decision a little bit easier.
Well, and we're talking with Wesley Bryan, and you and your brother George are known as the Bryan brothers, and you mentioned growing up playing with him, and he's kind of the older brother, so he's kind of blazed the trail, I guess, for you in a lot of ways. But what's it like just kind of being able to, and I guess we'll get into the trick shot side of things too, but just the idea of being with your brother, playing golf with him, and the fact that he caddied for you for one of your wins earlier this year.
Yeah, I knew that if I decided to go to South Carolina, I was going to have somebody there that it was already comfortable, I guess you can say, and I knew that he was going to push me to be the best that I could possibly be, and he was going to be a good role model and lead by example with a really good work ethic and be a good leader on the team. So I thought that was the best choice for me, and yeah, having him on the bag in Louisiana, that was really special to get my first really professional win. I mean, I won a couple really small mini tour events, like 1 or 2 dayers a couple years ago, but to get my first major professional win with him on the bag was super special.
Oh, that's fantastic. So he's not necessarily your full-time caddy. What's kind of the idea moving forward?
Yeah, he still has a desire to be out here and play. He didn't dream about being a PGA Tour caddy.
Gotcha.
Since he was 5 years old. So he's gonna try and keep playing and caddy when he can, and he wants to go to Q school this fall and hopefully get his card for next year. So he's going to start focusing on his golf later on in the year. But in the beginning of the year, I told him I'd let him caddy whenever he wanted to caddy, going through till about August or so.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, can't beat that. We're talking with Wesley Bryan, pro golfer here on Unpacking It. And Wesley, with you and your brother George, getting kind of well known as the Bryan brothers because of your YouTube channel and the golf trick shot videos. How does that fit into, wanting to be a PGA Tour guy and win tournaments and all that? How do you balance the fun of that and the exposure that's given you, but also just the seriousness and the commitment to golf that you guys have?
Yeah, a couple years ago when we started messing around with the trick shot stuff, we did it really just in the beginning for fun, because it was getting a little bit of attention, and then we started to realize that there were people calling, wanting to book live shows for us.
Wow!
And have us film content for them, and then these major brands started reaching out, like, "Hey, we'd like to sponsor you guys to do some content for." Started getting these crazy phone calls. We were like, heck, we could make a business out of it. So we kept doing it. We kept doing it just for the sole reason to fund our mini tour golf at the time. And that was kind of the reason we kept doing it. And but it was able to do that. It was able to provide me the opportunity to go through Q School again and play a few mini tour events, because heck, they're expensive. And so it gave us the opportunity to keep playing and keep chasing our dream, and to look back 2 years ago where I was and now, it's crazy to see how much God's been looking out for me and blessed me over the last 2 years and been super faithful. So we're just going to keep plugging along.
Oh, I love it. Well, if people haven't seen them yet, definitely check out the Bryan brothers golf trick shot videos on YouTube. And man, it makes golf even more fun than it is regularly, and creative, and just the out of the box thinking is a lot of fun. And you will be amazed and entertained by some of these shots they've been able to make. And so we continue right now talking golf and faith and family with Wesley Bryan. And Wesley, you mentioned your faith a little bit, and would love to really hear your story and kind of the journey that you've been on as you've made the decision to follow Jesus, and what that has looked like throughout your life, and how it also intertwines to being a pro golfer and the pursuit that you've been on, especially since you turned pro and have began to understand, hey, I'm realizing my dream, but where does your faith kind of fit into all that?
Yeah, I started out, my parents raised me in the church, in an Episcopal church in Columbia, and that was kind of their decision. I realized once I got to about my junior or senior year in high school that I knew who God was. I believed in God, but I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. And so I crossed over there early my senior year of high school, and I had a girlfriend at the time who was completely supportive of some decisions that we had to make that were tough at the time, but looking back at it now, it's been extremely worth it. And I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. She's been great in my walk, keeping me accountable, and just we push each other to be more like Jesus every single day. And so that's kind of how I got started following Jesus. And as it pertains to being a professional golfer, we'd always prayed for my golf game, I guess, in hopes that it can support our family, but we had never been super intentional in our prayers until it was 2 years ago, last fall. Not this past fall, but the previous fall. I missed Q School for the third straight year, and I hadn't been playing bad. I'd had a decent year leading up to it, and started being super intentional right after I failed in 2014. We were praying already, started basically that next night for 2015 Q School, just asking God to help me get through Q School. And we're just praying for a web.com tour card, and that if we ask, you're going to give it to us because you're a good God and you want good things for your children. And so we prayed that prayer just every single night before we went to bed. And going through Q School, kept praying. And then once we got out, or once I got full status, started praying, Lord, we're just praying for top 25 on the money list. That's all we want. We know that if we pray for it, you're going to give it to us again. You've been faithful in the past, and you're going to continue to honor the prayers that we're throwing up your way. And shoot, he kind of wrecked our world after the second win. And
wow.
Once I'd locked it up, I was like, God is telling us we just need to pray bigger prayers. Like I'd already done, through 6 events, I'd already locked up the top 25 on the money list. And so we kind of had to reevaluate, and now we're praying for a third win and a battlefield promotion. We'll see if God allows that to happen. If that's in his best interest for us this year, then we actually have a chance to get out on the PGA Tour earlier than what we've been praying for. So it's crazy to see where all this has come in the last 4 months.
Man, that's incredible. That's a great story. Wesley Bryan, pro golfer here on Unpacking It, and right now on the web.com tour, but you'll be seeing him on the PGA Tour real soon, and in June playing at the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and sharing his faith with us today as well. And Wesley, even through this process, and now this year, having some early success and you're seeing answered prayers. What has that done for you with your faith and almost, I know the challenge even in my own life when things are going well, some of the challenges that come from that as well. What's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to praise God and thank God when things are going great, but it's super humbling to now start to realize that, hey, I know that I'm not going to play this great every week of every year. And there's going to be a time where I struggle and go through times where golf is not as easy. And it's kind of teaching me right now that I need to be prepared to even thank God on the bad days and the bad weeks. So honestly, the major prayer going forward will be that that God's going to give us this platform of golf and just to use it to bring more glory to his name than if I didn't play the game of golf. So that's kind of the major prayer going forward that we're asking.
That's awesome. And being able to do it today here on Unpacking It. And you mentioned your wife too. How long have you guys been married and what's kind of the setup like for when you have tournaments? Does she come with you? What's that like?
Yeah, she we'll be married 4 years in August. Nice. So actually I got married and graduated all in the same week back in 2012.
You're one of those crazy people.
Yeah, it was a big week for me, but
that's cool.
She's been able to travel a little bit with me. She's in PA school right now, and she's actually graduating that tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
But she's got to finish up her rotation that she's in the next 2 months. But she wants to travel a little bit, but she also felt like God sent her down the medical path for a reason, and just because I'm going to be on the PGA Tour next year doesn't mean that she's not going to continue to be obedient and listen to God. I feel like that she's been called to minister to patients in some way, so she's going to do that at least for the next couple years. And hopefully, if things go well, she might start traveling with me a little bit more, but we'll see. Honestly, I got no idea what it's going to look like.
That's all right. In golf, it's one day at a time. In life, it's the same thing. We're talking with Wesley Bryan, pro golfer, here on Unpacking It. And in looking at your Twitter feed, a couple interesting things I wanted to ask you about. The letter that you posted from Arnold Palmer. Share with our listeners a little bit about that and what that was like to receive that in the mail.
Yeah, that was super awesome.
Oh.
When I won in Louisiana, I got a letter from Arnold Palmer just saying congratulations, and it was just super neat to know that Arnold Palmer's still keeping up with the game and on a smaller level than the PGA Tour and writing letters. So that was super neat. And I got the second one, and it was just kind of like, man, someone's got to pinch me because this is like a dream, honestly. I mean, he's one of the best golfers to ever walk the planet, and the fact that he's sending a letter, and I mean, it's just super special.
Gosh. Yeah, that's incredible. Did you frame it? Where did that end up?
Oh yeah, they're framed and they're displayed. I'll look at it every single day.
That's cool. The other thing I noticed on your Twitter feed, and people can follow you, Wesley Bryan Golf on Twitter. The trophy that you won a few weeks ago down in Mexico and then ended up breaking. What's the story there?
Well, I'll tell you the story. Usually when the flight attendants say, be careful, items may have shifted during takeoff and landing. So I had it packed in in the overhead compartment in a carry-on bag. And when we landed, I got my bag off the plane and just opened it up. I think someone in the airport wanted to see it because we travel with a bunch of the guys week to week. And I pulled out the bottom half of the trophy. I was like, well, daggum, there's no head on it. Oh. So went searching in the rest of the bag and found the head. And now I don't even know if I really want a replacement because it's got such a special spot in my heart, the headless trophy. And it sits right next to it on the mantle that we put it on.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you'll always have that story and memory, and it makes it more unique. That's for sure.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
Very cool. Well, Wesley, what does the summer look like for you with golf, out of golf? What are some of the plans coming up that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to being able to kind of set my own schedule moving forward. I'm going to bounce around and play a little bit on the PGA Tour. I'll hopefully get a couple starts out there. And obviously, being number one on this money list on the web.com has its perks, and I'm going to really try and work hard for that. But I look forward to having a little bit more time off than I was maybe anticipating. I'll be able to be really rested going into some events that I thought because we're just now hitting the point in the season where upcoming there was a 9-week in a row stretch, and obviously you can't play all of them, but I was kind of gearing up to having to play a lot going through the summer. But it'll be nice to be able to stay at home and sleep in my own bed and kind of get into a normal routine of just traveling for 2 weeks, coming home for a week, traveling for a couple of weeks, and being able to be at home and be a good husband and cook for my wife every once in a while instead of having her, heat up pizzas or whatever she does when I'm gone. But so, yeah, I'm not going to play as much as I maybe was initially anticipating.
That's great. And really, we as fans, we forget what the grind is like for a lot of athletes, but especially with golf, where it's a different city every week, and the sacrifices that it takes, especially for somebody like you getting going, trying to get to the next level. It's a lot. So it's cool that you're able to at least get a little bit of a break throughout the summer, which I know you'll enjoy, and your wife will enjoy as well. But Wesley, man, great talking with you. Look forward to following your career, and hopefully we can catch up again soon, and wish you the best with all the tournaments coming up, and excited for everything that God's continuing to do in your life, on the course, off the course, and thanks for sharing that with us today.
Thank you, Bryce. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. We appreciate it. There's Wesley Bryan joining us here on Unpacking It. Check out Bryan Brothers Golf. Check out their trick videos. You'll be very entertained by that. And then also you can follow Wesley on Twitter, Bryan Bros Golf and Wesley Bryan Golf. So check both of those out on Twitter. When we come back, we'll get into Unpack This and wrap up the show.
We'll be right back with more from Bryce Johnson. You're listening to Unpacking It.